like to be a star backer?
It feels like what it was last year. Not too much more, not too much less. I like the new name for it though. I feel like it's kind of fitting. So
Any particular reason why? Just because it's fitting?
yeah, I think just because it's fitting, it's a pretty cool name. Starbacker. That's my first time getting like a cool name to a position.
It's kind of invented for you, right, in a way?
Yeah, I'll say so.
So what are you going to get paid at, though? That's what I want.
That's a good question.
Who gets the most money? I think linebackers.
Yeah, but I mean, there's times where I might be on the edge a little bit, and I know them edge rushers they get big bags. So hopefully we can tap into those a little bit.
Isaiah, what do you make of being used all over the field? I know we talked about it to you before, and you've admitted you liked it, but now that you're in camp now, how much do you like it now?
I mean, I feel a lot. I just feel really comfortable. I feel like it's a lot of similarities to Clemson. So obviously that's how I got here, and that's what I was comfortable with doing all my college career. So being able to do it at the highest level is, I guess, a lot of courtesy to VJ, for allowing me to do that, and also the team for working with me and being able to help me out. Guys like Buddha, guys like JJ, everybody helping me out on all different levels, just to be the best version of myself.
It seemed like it'd be a lot to learn so many different spots.
Yeah. As hard as it makes it, like as hard as it seems, it actually is kind of makes things easier because then I know what everybody's doing, and I know where like all the help is, know where people are gonna be supposed to be, and when they're not supposed to be there. I understand all that, and I think it's really beneficial because then I can also help guys when we're not, maybe like we're in like a regular package, and things are. I can help guys even though because it's the same position basically.
Has there ever been a point where they've been like, here's your seventh different position, and you're like, oh, let's slow down, you know what I mean? Like, has there ever been a point where you've said this is too much, or anything?
I mean, if really when you think about it and it all boils down, it's all just responsibilities. Different coverages and and whatnot are just a different guy being at a different spot. So a safety could play curl flat, a nickel could play curl flat, or a Sam could play curl flat. At the end of the day, it's curl flat. So, I mean, you could say it's hard, but just knowing who's where on each play is basically the way I look at it. So I guess it's more conceptual learning opposed to just positional learning.
What's it like to know that you are going to be like the center of the offense's game planning against? But they're not going to know where you're at, so they're going to have to game plan against you somehow. Does that make you feel special as well?
I mean, yeah. Also, it puts a little pressure on me just knowing that, I got to be at the top of my game every single week. Just because obviously, if they can figure out what I'm doing, then that could be a good thing for them. But also, I mean, it's also something that's beneficial for us. So.
You're a very outgoing person, it seems like, and it seems like that is also goes on between the lines yesterday. We saw a little bit about that yesterday. Do you think that part helps the game? Do you talk a lot out there to whoever?
To select people. If you're talking about me and Hop's actually like my best friend on the team. He's like my big brother. So to get under his skin, I had to keep going. But we hugged it out at the end of the day. He knows. We all know it's no hard feelings. I know it's no hard feelings. That's why I was smiling the whole time. But I was glad to see him get a little fiery because he's a really, really calm, peaceful person. I don't know if you know he has like a big peace sign on his hand that's tattooed. So to see him get like that, it's kind of fun. But also something good to see.
How do you get under Hop's skin?
I don't know. That's the first time I've done it. Normally he makes me mad because he tells me everything I don't want to hear, which that's something that you want from someone like him, especially who's reached things that he's reached. So normally things are the other way around. So when the script was flipped, I had to take full advantage.
What'd you say to him?
I just told him he didn't know what we were doing because he's like. Before the play, he's like, every time you do this, we know exactly what you're doing. And he was completely wrong that play. So I just told him, I'm like, you don't know what we're doing. yeah. So.
Does he like, so when you guys are one-on-one against each other or something, does he like calling out what you do wrong or what you do right?
No, yeah, absolutely. He tells me, he gives me a lot of tips on what he thinks would help me, and what he thinks other guys will do. And I feel like that's pretty good coming from a guy like him, because not too many people do what he does in this league. So he's definitely, I'd probably say the hardest, well, a teammate who's on me the hardest, regardless of what it is. Even in games, he'll pull me to the side and he'll be like, hey, like, look now, you can't be doing this or that. And that's just something I really, really appreciate from him. And that's also things that you want out of leaders on this team. So can never complain about it.
How did the relationship start?
Well, you know, as Clemson guys always stay together, but believe it or not, my rookie year, I was standing outside the facility and he happened to be walking in, and then he was like, take my number down. And we hung out that weekend, and kind of ever since then we just kind of clicked, and, you know, our relationship has grown greatly.
DJ, you know, obviously just signed another extension. He's going to be here probably a decade. Is there anything, I know it's a totally different position and everything, but, you know, he had some struggles his first couple of years, and I know you had a decent couple, but, you know, and now he's grown into being kind of a franchise icon and everything. Do you look at his career as something that you could follow?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody always takes their own pathway, and but I mean, like everyone knows, you starting from high school. Well, I guess you do get offers as a freshman, but you know, I wouldn't necessarily say you get your next contract based off your first couple of years. It's always about how you can respond and finish with things. So, seeing things like that, obviously, you know, is very lightening. But you know, very happy for DJ also. Well deserved. And he makes me better also every single day. Just going against him on the edge, he gives me tips on what I should and shouldn't do, things that he would do based off going against a guy like me. So, so seeing things from him and the way that he's handled things and gone about it, definitely is a positive thing.
What have you seen from Zaven in year 2 so far?
I've seen a lot of maturity, taking ownership of things, demanding things from others, not, you know, suggesting things, I would say. I told him that I know you're a young guy and you might have former defensive player of the years like J.J. Watt in front of you, Hall of Famers Chandler Jones, you know, Pro Bowlers, Buda Bakers. Like, I know you have all these guys around you, but things that they want is for you to be the Mike linebacker, to be the quarterback and demand things. And this year I think he's taken a lot more ownership of it, has a lot more knowledge of our defense and really the NFL, because the NFL is a completely different game than college. So him being out there with more confidence, demanding things, and not thinking about what he has to do, but knowing what he has to do, which is something that, you know, that comes with being a rookie and taking strides into your second year. So I think he's done a great job with that so far.
I know you said that everybody takes their own path, but it feels like just with the talk around you, kind of the way you're carrying yourself, everything with the position, that a lot of things are aligning for you to have a big year, for this defense to really form around you. Do you feel any pressure for that being the third year? Do you feel like that's true?
I wouldn't necessarily say pressure. I guess really I've always kind of felt like I've been doubted. Just like I'm a 3-star guy from Kansas. When I committed to Clemson, everybody told me from back home, you know, I was going to go there and be a bench player, never play, just play on special teams, and that was going to be it. But obviously I didn't really care what they had to say, and took a leap of faith for what I wanted to do, thought was best for me. So I kind of felt the same way here. Everyone called me a bust, which I could care less about. Like, that literally means absolutely nothing, especially from people who most likely have never played very much football, especially at a high level. So the pressure, I enjoy the pressure because, you know, if nobody cared and there was no pressure, then, you know, I must not be doing something right. So I take it as a positive thing, and I use it to help me get better each day.
Were you able to get potentially a lot of sacks by them moving you everywhere they're going, including the edge?
Yeah, I mean, that's my goal. You know, I want to get sacks and interceptions and everything else under the sun. So, that's definitely the plan. I've had a few sacks last year, so I definitely would like to build upon that a lot more.
Vince said that you're better when you see everything in front of you. Well, that when you were closer to the line, things just seem to be moving pretty fast. Why is it that you're more effective and a better player when you can kind of see how everything is?
You know, I just necessarily wasn't so used to reading pullers and everything from that level, and then to come to the highest level of the game and do it and learn it, a little difficult. So, just being where I've been, where I've had my comfort, I guess that's just like common sense on why that's been more beneficial. Like you wouldn't want to get a receiver and switch him to quarterback in the NFL, you know? Like that just doesn't really, just feel like that just wouldn't be your best option. So I feel like that's really what has helped me take bigger strides this year.
Was it frustrating to be up there and not be used to that happening and kind of, I won't say struggling a little bit, but like not being as effective as you could have been?
I mean, maybe a little frustrating just because I'm my biggest critic. I hate messing up. So just knowing that I wasn't dominating at it, I took it more as a challenge, you know, just something to get better. I never, ever complained about, oh, well, like, this is my first year doing this. Like, that's no excuse. They put me there. It's time to go to work. It's time to get the job done. So it's not something I'm against doing at all, because I still will do that. But I just took it as a challenge, as something to get better. And I've really worked hard at excelling in that. And I feel like I did get a lot better in that throughout the year, even last year. So, and I'm even better at it now.